Hi, my name is Art. I teach Python, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use function enumerate. And enumerate is one of the Python built-in functions. So you could always Google Python built-in functions. I already Googled. So here you'll find a link to Python built-in functions. So that's official Python documentation. But sometimes people would say that it's difficult to read Python documentation because it's too technical. So if it's too technical, there are a bunch of other sources like W3 schools, Programmis, and a bunch of other things. Now, so if it's too difficult to read official documentation, you could always find an example in W3 schools or any other resource. Now, you remember that Python comes with what, 67, 68 built-in functions, and the function we're about to use is enumerate. Function enumerate. All right, so let me show you how it works. So here, suppose I have Word, and if you watch my previous video, I was using function range to generate index for that word apple. All right. So this time we will use function enumerate. Again, you got a couple options. You could go to Python documentation, or you could use help right in your environment. In this case, we're using Jupyter Notebook. And you see return an enumerate object. All right, so what does it mean? So let's give it a try. So here I could pass word, and you see it returns object. So when you see something like this, don't freak out. What it says, it just says that, hey, I did the job, and now you got this object sitting somewhere in Python memory. So that's Python memory address, right? So there are a couple of options how we could deal with that. So one, we could actually unpack it, and we could use list to unpack it. All right, and I'll explain you what it means in a second. Another way, you could actually unpack this as tuple. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please watch my video about tuples and data types, right? Now, kind of looks similar yet different. And another way, you could actually use a for loop. You could actually use a for loop to unpack this, to go through this object. So it's going to be for I in enumerate, and we pass here again word, and let's print I. So you see what enumerate does, it returns tuples. How do I know that these are tuples? Because first of all, you could visually see that these are parentheses, so that would be first hint. But then my advice to you, it will take just a second, run type, and oops, and it will tell you that here you're working with the tuple. All right, so each tuple contains two items. So first we get index and then character. So you see what enumerate does, it actually generate index for each character, right? Now what we could do here, since each tuple contains two items, there are two options how we could deal with that. So first we could index them, right? So that would be one option. That's totally fine. But in my previous video, when I was talking about tuples, I showed you how you could use simultaneous assignments. So since each tuple in this case contains exactly two items, what we could do, we could provide two values. So let's call this index, and that would be item. All right. So now that would be a much cleaner way of doing things. And we could print them here. And now you see I'm getting totally same result. So since each tuple contains two items, we could unpack them. So again, the idea behind enumerate, that's alternative to range that I just showed you, but here you could also generate index and get the character. Now keep in mind that string here, apple, is a sequence of characters. Now, another sequential data type could be a list. So suppose here I have 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. If and now let's call this something else, not a word. Let's call this a list. All right, so if I run this on a list, it would work exactly the same. So it's very versatile function. And here again, you see what we're seeing. We're seeing index and item from that list. So enumerate would be built-in solution in Python to generate index of each item or character if we talk about the string in any sequential data type or in any sequential container. All right. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to use function zip.